Okay. It looks like everything's working. Oh, it looks like I've got connection. Cool. All right. Sweet. Hello, hello. Just wait for... I've got one person who needs to jump in, and then just because they are... they sent me a little present, and so I want to make sure that they can see it. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Alright, let's get rid of that. Let's make sure this is going. Yes. Sweet. Okay. Hello. We are still doing Stardew Valley, but like I mentioned last time, I said that we were going to do it a little differently because I was going to try and actually download mods. And I'm not very good at that. My only experience in downloading mods ever has been Baldur's Gate 3, which is basically the easiest game ever to download mods for because they have it set up in the actual game UI to do it. With other games, obviously, you usually have to download another software. So it took me a little while, but as you can see, we're able to actually get some good mods in. And the mods I've chosen are the Spooky Ooky mods. I did this because, in my head, spooky season always starts when I've gone to the Ren Fair near us, or like mid-September, one or the other. But, you know, oh, and perfect. Okay, sorry, I was just checking that audio real quick because it gave me a strange little note. Anyway, spooky season always starts for me either mid-September or whenever I go to the Renaissance Fair near me, whichever one comes first. And this past weekend, I, in fact, went to the Renaissance Festival, and it was very fun. And I got to carry around a little fake rat, and I got to hang out with my friends. And it was very nice, very good weather, had a lot of cider and everything. So it was very fun, very good. And that really got me in the spirit of spooky season. So, fun fact, pumpkin spice lattes are available in Dunkin' Donuts if you have one where you are. I think Dunkin' released it early this year. They were like, you can get pumpkin spice lattes. I think it was like 10 days ago they released it. So, technically, I guess, if you're going by that metric, it started 10 days ago, and we're actually incredibly late, which is fine because better late than never, right? So, what you'll see here, and what we're actually, I'm very excited because we're actually starting over completely from scratch. So, the last couple of times that we've played, I just went along with a farm that I had already started. We are starting from scratch because I want to see what everything looks like with these new mods. And this mod that I have here is called the Halloween Feeling mod. It's available on Nexus Mods. It's one of like the most popular Halloween mods that there is. And it basically changes the entire game. It changes the layout, it changes the UI, it adds like textures and furnitures and everything. Like this thing does a ton of heavy lifting. So we are going to be looking at that. I've also downloaded a second secret sneaky mod that I'm not going to talk about because I'm hoping that we actually run into it. So I'm going to keep it as a little bit of a surprise, but I'm also very excited about it. But it's kind of going along with this theme of spookiness. And what we are going to do is we are going to start brand new with a brand new farm. We're going to see what things look like, all Halloweeny and spooky ooky. All right. So before we get into that, though, we're just going to chat a little bit while I do some of the initial setup for the actual farm. And then I figure after that we can talk about some of the wrestling news that's come out lately. So I think this will be very fun. When your local when your local shop starts stocking the, and I don't think I can pronounce that, Federwei. I don't know what that symbol. I'm slowly in the process of learning German. I don't know what that symbol means in the middle of the second part of that word, or what that sounds like. But a young wine, super sweet. Oh, so like a dessert wine. Ooh. Okay, that actually sounds very good. But let's load in, and that actually leads me to one of the first things that I want to talk about, which is, you, my dear friend, sent me some snacks. And actually, for everyone else who maybe doesn't know, oh my god, I'm gonna get so distracted this whole game. Look at all of this. Oh, dude, what even is this? Oh, it's my little fireplace. Oh my god. And I've got a skeleton. This is so cool. Oh my god, this whole thing over here is new. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry if this is a little difficult to read. So it's a double S. So Federweiser? Is that how it's pronounced? Federweiser. But oh my god, this is so cool. Sorry if the text is going to be a little difficult to read. I may change the saturation a little bit depending on how difficult it is for people to actually read what the text is. Oh my god. This is so cool. Are those skeletons? Hey, do the trees have faces? Dog. This is so cool. Oh my gosh. What's in the center of the... So here's the tree trunk. What's in the center of it? Is it like sap, or is it trying to say that like the center of the tree is bone? Oh my god, this is going to be insane. I'm going to get so off topic this whole stream just because I'm going to be freaking out about how cool all this stuff is. Oh my goodness. So I'm going to assume the skulls have now taken place of stones, and they have. Okay, cool. Oh my god, this is so cool. So what are these things then? Are these... So they're not... Are these... Oh, okay, those are wood. Okay, the little bones are wood. These are stone. Okay, that makes sense. Oh, thank you. Federweiser. That's very cool. But what that brings me to is you gave me a whole bunch of treats. And so for anyone who doesn't know, or anyone who's coming over here because they follow me on AO3 or Tumblr, dear friend in the chat there sent me a hand-bound copy of something that I wrote, Criminal's Guide to Baking, for the few of you who probably know. Sent me a hand-bound copy of it. And it was... That in and of itself meant so much. It was just so cool to see something I have written, like, actually hand-bound and looking like a real actual book. Like, I don't know if I can ever really describe how much that means, because it's very, very... it just means a lot to me. So, but along with that, they gave me a bunch of German chocolate. So one of them is Milka, and Milka is something that you can get in some U.S. grocery stores. Usually you can find it at, like, World Market. It's not super popular. But also there was these little koala bears that have chocolate inside. I don't really know how else to describe them. It's literally like graham cracker koala bears with granola inside. And those were incredible. Now, what else was in that I'm actually going to try today, which is, and again, I'm going to completely butcher this pronunciation, Brocken fritter. I don't think it's fritter. Brocken fritter. Brocken frittler? Brocken frittler. The fish are dead. Look at that. Okay, so another mod that I have here is revealing fish that can be, like, fished up, basically. And, oh my god, they're dead. That is so cool. That is so cool. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I literally ate those koalas in, like, 2 days. The Milka was also gone in 2 days. I really love chocolate. But yeah, so the Brocken, it looks like Frlitter, Flitter, Brocken Flitter. And I am very, very excited to try that, and I'm gonna try it on stream. And I think that that'll be really fun. And also, me not having my cam on will save everyone from having to see me just absolutely gum some of this chocolate. But I'm very excited, and that's basically all to say that Brocken Splitter. It's an ancient S. Hold up. Why does the German language sound so cool? Brocken Splitter. Okay. So Brocken Splitter. It's basically, thank you. My grandpa is German, and he has tried my basically entire childhood to get me to speak German, and I was never very good at it. I never picked it up, but I have some vague idea of how some things are pronounced, but for the most part, I like butcher it. I don't have a ton of energy, and I also don't think I can make food yet. Oh my god, look at the chest. It looks like a mimic. Dude, this mod is insane. Oh my gosh. This mod is wild. Okay, I actually do need to make a chest, though. Let's replace the sap with this. Okay. Look inside the little chest. Oh my god, this is so cool. Okay, I'm probably gonna spend the rest of the game like walking around and looking at all the little details. However, yeah, all that basically to shout you out and to say thank you so much, because it really did mean a lot. And okay, I don't want my character to die of exhaustion, so that'll just go unwatered for today. But it's so cool. Honestly, I don't know. I haven't talked to him in a long time, and I believe it was my great grandparents who immigrated over, and my grandpa, I think, for like basically his whole life grew up here, so he probably wouldn't even know if I asked him if I still talk to him. But from like what little I remember, I think it was like north, somewhere in the north. I don't know, somewhere north. I should look into that more though and see, because I think that'd be really cool. Dear God. Yes, so this mod, I mentioned it up top, but it's called Halloween Feeling. And if you just go into Nexus Mods and look up Halloween, it is one of the first ones that pops up. And look at how much it changes. Like, the trees have faces. There's these little pumpkins. And some of the pumpkins have different faces. Oh my goodness. Dude, this is insane. I promise we'll get to, like, actual wrestling talk, but, like, oh my gosh. Now, another mod that I should have installed, but I didn't have time, was making all the villagers have costumes, which I think would be very cool. Oh my gosh, the, like, title cards are different, too. Dude, this mod is enormous. What it is, Linus? Oh my goodness. Northern Germany people unite. What was up with that rabbit? Did everyone else see that rabbit? It's fine. I'm sure that was a fine rabbit, and I just mistook it for something else. Silly me. Ooh, I can eat this leek. Nice. Maybe I can actually water my plants after all. Eating, eating, eating. Hello, Demetrius. So yeah, so this one is basically one that we're going to be starting over from scratch together. And I think, like, there'll be times where I'll be like, hey, why does that saw have blood on it? Robin? Hey, Robin, what's going on there? What's going on there, Robin? Yeah, I think what I might do, there's another mod called Ghost Town that essentially lowers I think it's the opacity of the entire place, because Ghost Town mod is basically everyone in town has died and they are now ghosts. And the only reason I would download that is to sort of fix the color mismatch between the actual villagers and the rest of the game. You finished binding that? Okay, so Another thing that this insane person has done is bound the last thing that I wrote called These Well-Made Men. And it didn't feel like the longest thing I've ever written, but it turns out that it was by far one of my longer works. And it's like over 500 pages, I think, which is like, that is insane that you managed to do that. That is wild. That is just so crazy. Oh my goodness, that's awesome. Thank you so much. So look at these. I think these are usually trees. These little like ghost guys. Also the skeletons hanging. I don't know if I should put like a content warning. Some of the things that I know about this mod is that there will be content like this. There will be some light gore. It's all pixelated, but just in case you're very sensitive to that, that will appear in here. So just, a heads up that will show up here, and I'll try to, put something up. Oh my goodness, thank you so much. Oh, their little eyes looking out everywhere. That is so cool. I think I'm going to get through this day, and then I will try okay, where did you say how it's pronounced? The Brocken Splitter. I'll try the Brocken Splitter after this day is up and we've sort of explored a little bit. But oh my goodness, this is so cool. This is so... Look at the playground. Dude! Look at the little seat that's broken. There's a little guy peeking out. I don't know what happened to this thing. I can still sit on him, though, which makes me very happy. That is so cool. The attention to detail that this specific mod has to have taken, like, this must have taken the person a very long time to make. Oh my goodness. This is so cool. It's over 600 pages. I think I have a problem. Like, can you imagine if I dedicated that kind of energy into, like, anything else in my life? Like, things that might actually, like, make me an income? That's insane. That is absolutely buck wild. Look at so these were the streetlights. That is so cool. Okay, and I actually think these little ghost things were bushes, maybe, in, like, the actual OG skin. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. I also haven't found any other villagers yet. I guess it is getting kind of late. Oh. There's like little pumpkins. There's a guy driving this. A lot of random... Oh no, that's a body. I thought that was a hay bale. No, that's a body in the back of the truck. Fascinating, fascinating, fascinating. Oh, this is so cool. This is perfect for like the spooky streams. I'm gonna try and download a couple more mods to like improve things some, but this is so cool. I'm like geeking out over this. Oh, look, blood coming out of that. Like, I like how a lot of the vehicles have a mystery driver. Oh, this is so cool. I might also turn the music on at some point because apparently the music changes a little bit. But there's also a Silent Hill music mod that I think would be very cool. Basically, it seems like it just pitches down all the music, but that would be awesome. Let me look in I wonder if the interior... Oh, well, we know the interior of the buildings are different because Robin's place was different. Oh, yes. Oh, this is so cool. What it is, Clint. You're a horrifying guy on your own. And then there's Shane. Oh, this is awesome. This whole place is so cool. I didn't even see the bear. Look what happened to the bear's face. Ugh. I mean, that's normal. Maybe bears just look like that. I don't know. I don't get outside very much. Honestly, I am surprised that your bookbinding isn't your full-time career. For those who don't know, Solo does, like, a lot of bookbinding. I think this is also your YouTube channel, I believe, the one that you're commenting from, where they uploaded a video basically going through their bookbinding process, which is very good. So if you're ever interested in that and seeing how they, like, bind... you just did a Hangman promo Hangman promo, like mini pocketbook, I think. Yeah, see, like my big thing is I really like for actual Halloween, sort of the kitschy, cheesy, like sort of feel good. We'll probably explore this area tomorrow also because it's getting a little too dark to be able to see. But I really like the kitschy, cheesy Halloween stuff, like the you know how when you smell like those plastic orange, uh, uh, the plastic orange Halloween buckets, and it has like a specific smell. That's like that like chitsy cheesiness is my favorite kind of uh like Halloween feeling. I'm not super into the super spooky scary, but I thought this might just be a little fun just because it's, it's sort of spooky, but it's also, pixelated. So it's not too scary. All right. My poorly tilled garden. All right. Put all you in here and go to bed. And we're in bed. Okay, sweet. So, and I leveled up. Oh my god, I'm so good at this game. It's almost like I have almost 900 hours in this game. Okay, before we go to the next day, I'm gonna try the, and I have to look up, I'll remember it, the Brocken Splitter. So it's, for anyone who's not looking it up, it looks like a Toblerone, but this one specifically, it was in my mailbox because this showed up right as I was leaving for that birthday party I mentioned last stream. So it was in my hot mailbox for a little bit. So it's a little molded together. But basically, the shape is like a Toblerone, and inside it looks like it could be like butterscotch or toffee or something. All right, and I'm going to lean away from the mic when I chew it so that anyone who's similar to me and hates eating mouth sounds doesn't have to deal with that. So oh my god, this is so good. Oh my god, that is so good. I was expecting it to be kind of butterscotchy because that's what the inside looks like. But it looks like, and I can't read German very well, but it looks like it has like hazelnut in it. Oh, dude, this is incredible. Holy crap, Germany has some good chocolate, man. Oh, Germany has some really good chocolate. My goodness, that was very good. Yeah, so listen, if you can find um, Brocken Splitter, you should get it because oh my god, that is very, very good. Holy crap. Okay, so let's keep going with the farm. Okay, now, first thing we're going to do is we're going to water the plants before I completely run out of energy, exploring the whole rest of this new mod, which really is just fantastic. I am so impressed with what this modder has done, but I do want to get a little bit far in the game today because I want to see if we can run into the surprise mod that I have personally downloaded. Oh, sweet, and we can get a fishing pole. Let's go. All right, so let's start with some just clearing up a little bit. Boom. So yeah, before we talk about wrestling, I also just wanted to talk about the Renaissance Festival that I went to because it was so much fun. I love a Renaissance Festival, and I brought one of my friends who was never able to go to a Renaissance Festival when they were younger, just because their parents, their parents were the kinds that were like, you're not allowed to watch Harry Potter because it's, demonic. And now it's demonic for a completely different reason. But, yeah, so pick stuff you wouldn't be able to get in the US. Yeah, so most of that I can't get in the US. That specific Milka bar, so Milka bar you can get in some places in the US, but that one I've never seen. So I'm thinking that one is probably very specific to Germany. And also, I think the Milka bars that you get in the US are made in the US. So and for anyone who doesn't know, United States chocolate is not as high quality as other places. So like, if you have chocolate in Europe, it tastes vastly different than chocolate in the US, and that's because they're made of different things. And chocolate in other countries tends to be of higher quality because it has less filler in it, and it is made of fresher, more real ingredients than what chocolate in the US is made out of. Okay, anyway, that disclaimer aside, the Renaissance Festival was so cool. It was just, I just love seeing adults getting to walk around and like play dress up and just have fun and spend way too much money on like armor and swords and little like kishy things. I just think it's so much fun, and I love that as like a collection we have all decided that this is an acceptable thing for us to do, because it absolutely is. Like, the Renaissance Festival is just an excuse for people to be creative around each other. I also don't know if any of you have seen this. There is a guy who got popular, I believe, on Instagram first. He's probably on TikTok now, but his name is Jack the Whipper. I don't know if you've probably seen him on your Instagram feed or your TikTok if you're on that. I'm not, but you've probably seen him. And he was at our Renaissance Festival because he actually got his start at our Renaissance Festival. That used to be his home base, and so he makes sure to, from what I know, come there every year, and that's where most of his videos are filmed, although I do believe he has started to travel because he has gotten so popular. But we were able to go there and see him do his whole shebang live, and it was so cool. He was like so talented, he was so funny, and then one of our friends went up to get a picture with him, and I was just like, man, people in this world really do be... I'm sorry, is that butterfly a skull? God, I love this mod. But yeah, people just like be making jobs out of things that they love. And while, obviously that's difficult, especially in this climate, it's just so cool, Like, that guy grew up in the circus and basically made a living off of doing whip tricks and performing at Renaissance festivals year round. Like, that is so cool. Imagine being able to do something like that. Yeah, so Jack, he started at our Renaissance Festival. He's really, really good. He does his... have I said hello to you yet? I think I have. Oh, no, I haven't. Hi, Leia. He does his performance sometimes alongside another guy. He's a juggler, and I think he's in some of his videos, but the juggler is also very, very good. But, it's just fun. It just got me thinking, like, man, that's so cool that people just really do find things to do that they love, and not everyone has to work this, like, big corporate job. But yeah, I went and I had fun. Apple cider in one hand, fake rat in the other, and it was just glorious. I loved it. And so that is actually why I didn't stream yesterday. I want to turn on their fireplace and run up their gas bill. But this game won't let me, and it's very rude. But yeah, I really wanted to stream, but dude, we got there at, I think it was like 10:30, 11 o'clock. I'm sorry. Was this here yesterday? Was this here yesterday? Hey, I think I would have remembered this yesterday. I don't think it was so dark that I didn't see this. What happened here? What's the situation going on right here? I have a hunch. Oh my god. It's time for Detective 7 to get on the case. Someone's committed a murder. Who do we think would do so? I saw you. I saw this. I saw you. I saw you. I saw you. There's someone down there, madam. Madam, you're not safe here. There's been a murder. You're not safe. My god, this fountain is made out of blood. Something's not right in this town. Okay, I'll put Detective 7 away for a second. What even was I saying before that? I don't remember. Hi, Piers. What's going on in here? Just some wild stuff. Oh, this is good. So many people, like, write together, so I can actually, like, meet all the villagers. Sweet. Now, here's the thing. As I decide who I'm going to romance in this run-through, I think we can all agree that the best person to romance right now would be Sebastian, our spooky boy for our spooky-themed playthrough. I just think it would be very fun. Let's buy 2 of these. Let's buy 2 of these. I'll buy a bean starter. I'll buy a tulip. I'll buy a couple tulips. I'll buy 5 tulips. Okay. Anyway. Yes. So, that was so much fun. Oh my god. The other thing that our specific Renaissance Festival does is it has professional wrestling Shakespeare on one of their stages, and I stood and I watched that for a little bit because I got separated by a couple of people. But oh my god, dude, so much fun. So much fun. So this little church area always creeped me out to begin with because I don't know who Yoba is. Yoba looks like he's not doing very hot though, and everyone in this town seems to be worshiping him. I'm guessing that that's where the body came from. I can neither confirm nor deny, yet there's a note. My suspicions. Bear of bad news, but I've been obliged to inform you of a recent development most threatening to your livelihood. Jojaco has decided to expand into Pelican Town. It's too late for protest. Joja builders have already broken ground for new Jojamart. This must be devastating news for you. So many years in business, a local standby, and now obscured by the shadow of a powerful, efficient, economically viable corporation. What a shame. As manager of the new Jojamart, I feel, to some degree, personally responsible for your predicament. As such, I'd like to offer you a position as assistant grocer. Wages start at 5 gold an hour. I look forward to seeing your resume. Screw this guy. I hate Mr. Morris. Mr. Morris can suck my ass. Anyway. Oh, and they've all decided that they are finished. Did I say hello to everyone? I think I did. Yes. Okay, good. Oh my gosh. I just can't get over how cool this mod is. So, yeah, basically, long story short, I was at the Renaissance Festival all day yesterday. We got there at 10:30, and then we got home at, like, also 10:30. And I was exhausted. We walked for, like, 4 hours. I had spilled cider all over myself several times. I dodged several bees. But, you know, that was basically the reason why. I also missed Collision yesterday. Luckily, I have a friend who caught me up, so I know everything that happened for the most part. Well, I know a lot of the important stuff, some of the stuff that we tend to care about here, which is mostly the Death Rider stuff. So, let me get this fishing rod, and once I get this, oh my god, the bench is a spine. Some of those fish have eyeballs, and some of the fish are dead. This whole mod is so cool, and I love it so much. Okay. Unwind for a month, the salty seas. Yeah, I think maybe, I don't know, should I do the mod that turns all the townsfolk into monsters? And they're not scary monsters, they're more Disney monsters. Or do I get the Ghost Town mod? I'm not sure yet. I'll figure it out, and I'll have a decision made by the next time I stream. I might have a decision made, because I may also stream tomorrow, because in the US, it's Labor Day, so I'm going to have tomorrow off. Let's get rid of the fiber. Cool. All right. Now I have to offload a bunch of stuff. Hey, Willie, your ocean's not looking too hot. Things aren't looking too great here right now. The monster mod, that's what I'm thinking, is making everyone a little monster, but we'll see. We shall see. All right. That was very fun. I love the Jason mask on the front. And it just says hell. It just says hell. It doesn't even say Willie's. It just says hell. Willie, you do have some explaining to do at that juncture. Oh my god. The beach is so cool. What are these things? Are these like... I can't tell what they are. I know these are like the glass shards that you can pick up sometime. Crows look awesome. Hey, Elliot, what's also going on here? What's going on here, sweet Elliot? Is everything okay? It looks like not, maybe. There's another little guy in here. Interesting. Yeah, so now that all of that is done, and some of the precursor has been discussed, we can get into why I think most people are here, which is wrestling. This is as much as you can handle. Yeah, it is. I think this is mostly as scary as it gets. The secret mod that I have downloaded is not scary or gory or anything. It's just mostly very fun. For me and anyone maybe who likes folklore is the only hint I'll give as to what I have downloaded. However, in terms of wrestling and what's been going on this past week. So last time we talked, it was right after Forbidden Door, and I said that I think things are going to pop off starting Wednesday. And I am still of that opinion, even though not as much happened on Wednesday as I expected it to. I think the thing is, they currently have a Philadelphia residency, right? And I, like a lot of people, are suspecting that that residency means that Yuta is actually going to have a fairly big storyline. Now, I'm not going to get my hopes up for anything because we don't know, but there is every chance that Yuta actually gets his storyline because this is where he lives, this is where he started wrestling, so I think that would be very cool if they actually start to give him a little something now that he is back home where he belongs. You know, I just think it'd be pretty cool. Now give me some fish. Give me a fish. Come to the pole. Nice. Oh god, and this is the first time I've fished too. I'm actually pretty decent at fishing in this game, so not when like the fish get wicked fast, but oh my god, and it doesn't even show me the sunfish, it just shows me like this corpse. That's awesome. But yeah, so the Wednesday was kind of crazy. Wednesday, I believe, started off with, I believe it was FTR. And FTR was not the main thing that I thought was really interesting. First and foremost, I think the arena for the Philadelphia residency is very interesting. From what I know, it is an older arena that used to do, I think it was either IWC or ECW. Oh, and I forgot that these guys are going to get me at the end of the day. I don't have anything to fight you with. Goodbye. Time will stop. Well, I put this in here. Actually, I want to sell that. Please don't kill me. I'm doing things. But the arena itself is so cool, and I love what AEW's done with it, because the wrestlers walking out with the chain link fence in the back just brings me back to like old school, like Attitude Era Raw / ECW, like back when TNA was like super like they were the edgy programming. It just feels so cool, but it's in this sort of modern day setting. I also really like the more intimate arenas. I know they get dogged on a lot because people are like, oh, they're wrestling in front of like 20 people. I think that something people really forget is how important like just the wrestling is. I think people get really into the numbers of everything, and they get into the stats and who sold out this and how many people are live for this and whatever, which, like, I understand to an extent that does matter business wise to keep the company going, is like how many people are watching and how many people are there live. Personally, I don't care. As a wrestling fan, I don't understand why people decided that we have to care about the most boring things. Like, if you had told me years ago that when, I was 10 years old watching wrestling, that one day one of the biggest conversations around wrestling was going to be TV ratings, I would, I think, laugh in your face, because how absolutely boring is that? Like, I'm sorry, I don't care about TV ratings. I care about the fact that some guy shoved a fork through another guy's ear at the last pay-per-view. Anyway, regardless to say, that is why I like the really intimate arenas, because it feels more like an indie show. It feels more intimate, like they can do more, like they can interact with the crowd more. It just feels nicer. And, like, yeah, it doesn't have that grandiose, like, Wembley Stadium feel to it, but it is something completely different that I really like. The Blue Meanie had an appearance. You wish Raven wasn't doing this documentary tour because you'd want him to make an appearance. That would also be very cool. Yes. Oh my god, the rain is blood. Look at the rain. The rain is blood. I love this mod. I love this mod. Alright, let's go to the blacksmith to open that little baby up. And then we're going to do a lot of fishing. So the first couple of days, it's going to be a lot of introducing myself to people, a lot of fishing to try and get the money up, so that we can afford to get some stuff done. Can I actually build a fence? Okay, I can build a gate, so I'll probably start doing that soon as well. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fishing these first couple of days just to get some things underway. But yeah, as I was saying, I think this arena rules. I think this arena is so cool. And in terms of what FTR is doing nowadays, I'm not an FTR fan. I think I'll be the first person to admit that I'm not a huge FTR fan. But I was the least amount... How do I say this? I was the biggest FTR hater when they were trying to be a face and no one was getting behind it and they were getting butthurt about it. Like, I think the cringiest thing that wrestlers can do is attempt to get people to be on their side and love them as, like, this, like, huge face that everyone adores and they're like the it guy, when in reality people just don't want that. Like, people want you to turn heel or people want you to do this and that. I'm just not a fan when wrestlers try and go against that because they have their own narrative that they want to, portray. And I think FTR being heels is a much better move for them. I don't dislike them as much. I mean, I'm still not a huge fan. I think the problem for me is that they kind of do the same promo every single week. But, some people do really like them. And, for some people, they are kind of the end-all be-all. So I think what they're doing right now is really good. I think pairing Stokely with anyone is really good because Stokely is just such an incredible manager. And I think, like, he can also handle when the crowd is sort of ragging on him, you know what I mean? Like, because he'll do it to himself, and then he sort of, like, encourages these crowds, which AEW lately has had some incredible crowds with some hilarious chants, like between Glasgow and London and Philadelphia, and these chants have just been hilarious. But he kind of encourages a lot of that, and I think that that is also a really good sign of a manager who, like, can not only take it when crowds, like, make fun of him, but encourages it, because that adds to his character so much, and it makes it very easy to hate him. It's sort of like what Don Callis does, too. But yeah, I think what they're doing right now is pretty cool. Ooh, I caught a shad. Coal, rice shoot. I never plant those. Actually, I don't know why I got rid of that. Let me get rid of this trash. Oh, it's 9:30. Let me get this geode opened up. But yeah, I think what they're doing is pretty cool. I think also another storyline that I'm very interested in that got pushed forward a little bit is and I believe it got pushed forward on Collision, which is the Roddy Kyle storyline. Now, what I'm very, very interested in is where they're going to take that. I really like Roddy as like a character, as a wrestler. Same thing with Kyle. And I think trying to drive a wedge between Kyle and the rest of the conglomeration is very interesting. And what it made me think about is that a lot of people are aware now that Orange Cassidy has been cleared to wrestle, or at least that's what the report is, that he can now wrestle. And people are thinking that he is going to return to the ring soon, obviously, which I think would be very cool. Actually, can I? Oh no, this rod can't take bait. Whatever. I think that would be awesome. Obviously, we'd all love to see him in a ring again, however, a lot of people are assuming that Orange is going to come back and insert himself into the Death Rider storyline. I think it is just as possible that Orange comes back and instead inserts himself into the conglomeration storyline, because Orange was sort of one of the founders of the conglomeration. Kyle was like, I think, like his right-hand man, and if someone's trying to mess with them and mess with their mojo, I think it would track that Orange Cassidy comes back, gets involved in that storyline. I think Eddie probably comes back right on his heels, and Eddie, I think it is almost guaranteed to get involved in the Death Rider storyline. I cannot see a world in which they would bring him back and not have him get involved in one way or another. Is Garcia going to join the Death Riders? And if yes, what is Yuta going to do about his ex-boyfriend cheating on him with his ex-boyfriend? So that, I have so many thoughts about where the Death Rider storyline is going. I think it is fascinating that on the heels of the Darby Allin storyline, that we're now getting Daniel Garcia for a couple reasons. Reason number one, Darby Allin is fully involved in this storyline, and what the Death Riders have always done is sort of folded people into this storyline one by one until you have multiple interacting stories with each other. So we've got Darby interacting, we've got Daniel Garcia interacting, we have Hook attacking Yuta. So we've got a lot of these young guys getting involved in this storyline. Now, I am very excited about this for a couple of reasons. Reason number one, I think the whole dynamic between Yuta and Garcia is going to go one of probably three ways. I think the first way that everyone thinks is going to happen is Mox is trying to recruit Garcia into the Death Riders. If Mox succeeds in recruiting Garcia into the Death Riders, I think Yuta either crashes out, because now you've got Mox doing exactly what Brian did, right? Yuta, on some level, left Brian, or did what he did to Brian because of the fact that in the end, Brian really did leave him. If, Brian was never the guy to come out and protect Yuta, even before the whole Death Riders thing was going on. And then he also screwed him over while that storyline was beginning. Towards the end of the Yuta betrayal, he basically left him for dead. And with the whole Garcia storyline between Yuta and Brian, that was one of the biggest issues between the two of them. So you have this sort of sore spot where now Mox is jumping in, and Mox is doing exactly what Brian did. So I think Yuta very likely crashes out and possibly leaves the Death Riders because of that. I think either he leaves the Death Riders because of that, or he starts throwing a fit and Mox kicks him out. I think that is far less likely. I think it's less likely that Yuta gets kicked out of the Death Riders. I think it's more likely that Yuta leaves. Just storyline-wise. Also, give me 1 second. My cat wants to come in. I'll be right back. Hi, Bubbaloo. Chat thing says hi. Yes, I also love when Yuta's a pathetic little Mew Mew, but I also need him to start winning stuff. Like, seriously. There have been pockets of time when AEW treats him seriously, but they never last as long as they should. But, yeah, so I think that is trajectory number one. Mox successfully recruits Daniel Garcia. Yuta either leaves because of it or is kicked out because of it. And then I think we get some interesting dynamics with Yuta and Claudio. The next thing that I think could happen is Mox tries to recruit Garcia. Garcia turns on him and says, no, I'm not going to, just join the Death Riders because I think that they'll make me stronger. I'm going to stand on my own, making him the perfect foil of what Yuta's storyline was. Yuta joined the BCC because he wanted to get stronger and he believed he couldn't do it on his own, nor could he do it with the best friends, which I think, arguably, at the end of the day, he was correct about that. If Garcia says, no, I actually don't, and then the second part of that then is Yuta continued with the Death Riders despite the fact that the Death Riders didn't actually make him stronger. He just stayed with them because he doesn't know where else to go, because he doesn't want to fail. He doesn't want to, actually can't use bait right now, so I'll just toss that. If Garcia refuses the Death Riders, I appreciate that you're willing to forgive and forget, Banks. Listen, he's just a little guy. He doesn't know what he's doing. He smells. He stole an entire slab of beef jerky while we were at the Renaissance Fair. He's really going through it. So I think he appreciates your forgiveness. But, yeah, I think Garcia completely refusing everything that the Death Riders offer him makes him Yuta's perfect foil. And just, like, as a writer, ooh, that would be delicious. I would love nothing more than that, to insert a reason why Garcia would turn Mox down other than just not wanting to join the Death Riders or, seeing what they do to Yuta, right? And then, he refuses, life goes on. Then, I think there is a third reason. And the third thing that can happen from this, and it is entirely my fantasy booking, right? This is almost guaranteed not to happen. But in my mindscape, what ends up happening is not only does Garcia not join Mox, I think is that an eel? There's an eel down there. Can I catch him with this beginner rod? Probably not. Oh, but I want to get him. Oh, I want to get him. Come here. Come here, eels. Oh, wait, there's more down here. There's more down here. But not only do I think Daniel Garcia doesn't join Mox, I think what Daniel does is he sees what's happened to Yuta and either decides to say, hey, they're not treating you right. This isn't where you're supposed to be. Like, yes, we've hated each other for years, but I don't want to see you throwing your career away like this. Or Yuta basically goes to Garcia and is like, you don't want to be part of the Death Riders, which we can kind of see in some of his promos, right? He said to Garcia on Collision, be careful what you wish for. And while that can certainly be taken as be careful what you wish for when you're challenging the Death Riders, I think it could also be taken as be careful what you wish for, if you're actually thinking about accepting Mox's proposal. Or, Yuta goes in and is like, you don't want to be here. These guys are bad. Your career means more than this. I've made my own bed. And essentially what ends up happening is at the end of that, Garcia and Yuta end up forming their own team together. I think, yes, I caught an eel. Also, now Binks one's out of the room, so actually I'm on site with him. Go on. He doesn't even love me. All he wants to do is eat his wet food and leave me. But yeah, so I'm very, very excited. I'm going to get rid of the coal because I really need this eel if I'm going to... Actually, oh shoot, I should probably head home because I don't want to get rid of the mudstone because I can give it to Gunther. All right. I think, is Gunther open at 6? He might be. I think he's open pretty late. But yes, so I think one of those three things is going to happen. And I would love if the third option of Yuta and Garcia sort of saving each other and forming their own tag team happens. Oh, it closes at 6. Okay, whatever, that's fine. Because, one, I think it's very poetic. Two, I think Hook can then also get sort of roped into this team of young guys who are rebelling against the older men who screwed them over. Yuta rebelling against Mox, Garcia potentially also rebelling against Mox, maybe also rebelling against Nigel. Maybe this is sort of a heel face kind of faction. And then Hook can join because who screwed Hook over? Samoa Joe and Shibata. Because if you will remember, oh my goodness, look at what the slimes look like. Are they watermelons? Why does he have teeth? Oh, I love it. But anyway, like I was saying, I think that if Garcia Hook got screwed over by Shibata and Joe because if you'll remember, Hook was the person who won them their current titles. And then, Hook obviously received one of maybe the most brutal concussions that I've never seen. And by that, I mean, we didn't see him get the concussion, but we did see him vomit in the ring, which was a little brutal. But, that being said, Hook is there as, his reason being these older guys will drop you the second you're gone. Like, they don't care. They will replace you with whoever. I think Hook can join in on that. I think potentially Darby could join in on that, rebelling against maybe also Mox, because Darby and Mox have a history from early AEW. I think it could really just be this like group of younger guys with chips on their shoulders. And I think that would just be so fascinating because like that is the group, and it is made up of some of the greatest professional wrestlers in AEW. And the thing with that group too is it gives them an using him. Konosuke Takeshita when, Don ends up probably inevitably preferring Okada over him. I think that there's just so much potential for it. Yeah, I absolutely am going to update the current fic that I'm writing, centering almost exclusively around Yuta and Garcia, just because I think their dynamic and AEW bringing them into it is so interesting. And I really, really, really hope they return to having Yuta being the main character of this show, simply because he is just like, that is what he is. He is the main character of this specific storyline. He was the one whose, reaction to Brian really gave the whole thing legs. I just think he's incredible. And, also they're in Pennsylvania. So not only just Pennsylvania, they're in Philadelphia where he grew up. So, I just think personally, they really need to lean back into having Yuta be more of a figure in this whole storyline. And I do encourage you to catch up on Yuta and Daniel Garcia lore because it actually extends before AEW. One of the matches that Yuta gets lauded for a lot on the indies was a match with Daniel Garcia where the two men just did it. They did incredible. They've had incredible matches on the indies, but they've also had incredible matches on ROH when they were both vying for the ROH title, or, just the regular AEW matches. The two of them are sort of this perfect foil of each other. I think William Regal was the first person to point that out. Also, I don't like that this little guy is here. Can I get rid of him somehow? What do I do to get rid of this guy? Oh, and he gives me coal. That's so cool. Anyway. I think that's very interesting. And yeah, you can find a bunch of their lore back on YouTube. Yeah, see, like, as much as I would love to see, like, Yuta become this figure that almost saves the Death Riders from themselves and reestablishes them as the faction that they used to be, I think at this point, like, Yuta can stand on his own. I think he's proven that time and time again. Now, I say that. I also think that okay, I can make a chest. I should probably make a gate. I also think that they cannot end this story simply with Yuta leaving the Death Riders, because I think Claudio is going to have something to say about it. I think we need some sort of reaction from Claudio to Yuta leaving. And that's not just like, a fandom brained, like, oh, whatever, like whatever lore or canon like fans make up. That is literally just because they were tag team partners. Like, if you looked at the BCC and you thought, like, okay, who are like the sets of tag team partners? The two people who tagged together the most were John and Brian and Yuta and Claudio. And they were ROH champions together, and they kind of obviously had this connection to each other. And I don't think they can have Yuta leave in any way, shape, or form without Claudio having a reaction to it. I'm very interested to see, though, if Claudio has a reaction because Mox tries to kick Yuta out. I don't know if Claudio would allow that to happen. I think that would just be very interesting. I know, and I also need the crab walk again. I need Regal to come back. I want Dempsey in AEW so bad. He'd be so good in AEW. Yeah, I just think it would be very, very interesting. All of that stuff going on. Let's see, what else is going on other than the Death Riders storyline, which I find extremely compelling. Brian saying he loved these men at Forbidden Door broke me. Yeah. I mean, it's tough, right? Because Brian probably did, but also I think it was justified them retiring Brian the way that they did, because Brian was getting too attached to the limelight, and he probably was going to wrestle until he died, and, all of those in-canon reasons for why what happened. Regardless, I hope that Eddie comes back soon. I hope that Orange Cassidy comes back soon. All of that. Yes, Dempsey is such a good grappler. Probably, obviously, because of who his dad is. He's also likely trained with him. And Regal, ever. I also think it would be fun having Regal back in AEW, not even for the storyline consequences, but also because we really miss out on Regal and Tony Storm interacting and Regal and Nigel interacting. I think those, like, three together would be absolutely bonkers. There's no way they'd be able to air anything that those three would say. Absolutely not. Ruble, hello! We just finished talking about the Death Rider storyline, and I showed off... Oh, I'm quiet on your end. Let me fix my mic. There we go. Hopefully I sound better. I hope I didn't turn it up too much. But, yes, so... Oh, wait, I see some lake goo over there that I want. Oh, and Regal and Excalibur, I miss them too. Oh, I miss them so much. Regal was so good in AEW. Oh, although I completely understand why he went to WWE. I understand him wanting to spend more time with his son. But I think if, getting Regal into AEW means getting Dempsey into AEW, I mean, that's a win-win. That is just a win-win. So, I don't see a problem with it. All right, I gotta stop fishing so I can go get this geode cashed out. Run, 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 run. I'm very interested in the people who are set to return. So we have a couple of guys, right? We have Jack is very likely going to return very soon. From what we've seen on BTE and from Luchasaurus being resurrected. We also, so last time we streamed, I discussed how I think Lucha is going to turn on the matriarchy and join Jack. What we saw on Collision was Kip essentially ripping into Lucha, saying, like, you're the reason we lost. I don't have enough room in my inventory. Come on now. All right, let me get this Mudstone to Gunther then. you're the reason that we lost, you're the reason, et cetera, et cetera. So it makes sense that, oh God, and then there's this guy. Okay, yep, I'm skipping this. This guy does not interest me at all. It makes perfect sense that they push him, and he ends up turning on them to side with Jack. He sounded so happy to be in AEW, but he also mentioned that Charlie doesn't want his name attached to him. He wants to make it on his own, which I get, but also, yeah, 100%. Like, he, though I think oh wait, I need to get this geo done. I think one of Dempsey's most compelling storylines was when Regal was, fucking with him on NXT. I really think Dempsey can stand on his own, especially if he's in AEW. Like, I just think he would fit in so well with a lot of the guys there who just show up and have personality. And that is one of the biggest flaws in a lot of the guys who come over into AEW is, personally, I think a lot of times people come over and they think that they can just skate by on their name and be like, oh, well, I'm a huge name in WWE. I don't really have to try very hard. And it's like, no, there are different... It's not that there are different standards in AEW, meaning that, like, there are higher or lower standards. Fans just expect different things. Fans tend to expect more personality. So I think that would be very, very interesting. All right, let's see. YouTube is not enough video to... Let me see if something's... Nope, it looks like my OBS is fine. It's probably nothing. Yeah, it was too short. It didn't make sense. I still need to watch Dempsey and Bloodsport. I really do. I completely missed it. I've been so busy this past week. I just haven't been able to get around to watching it. But I absolutely need to watch that. But what was I saying? Oh, people coming back from injury. So obviously, I think Jack's coming back soon. Orange is coming back very soon. I think Eddie's also coming back very soon. I think... Who else is it? There's another guy who's, like, completely off injury now, and I think is just waiting. Oh, and I completely forget their name. But, there's a lot of guys coming in who I think can replace a lot of the guys who just went out, like Swerve. From what I saw online, it looks like Swerve isn't actually going to be out for super long. He's going to definitely be out probably for a few months, but not out for any extended period of time. It looks like Ospreay, however, is going to be out for like an extensive period of time. Obviously, because, he basically has a broken neck. I think it's a herniated disc is the technical term for what he has, but herniated disc. Pac was at a soccer game with Sami Zayn. He's fine. Oh, dude, that's right. That's Pac. Pac is the one that I was thinking about. Dude, I really hope Pac comes back soon. He's, like, basically missed out on the entire Death Rider storyline. Like, I completely forgot that Pac was even part of it. So, we will see. We will see what ends up happening with that. I do hope he comes back. I love, if they end up, not to go back to the Death Rider stuff, but if they do end up having, like, Yuta, Garcia, and Hook in one team, then you could easily have, like, Mox, Pac, and Claudio on the other team, and then I think it would be very difficult for Claudio to actually fight Yuta. I don't think he could bring himself to hurt him in the way that Mox probably could, even though I think Mox, did love Yuta, but, he completely lost his mind. Mox took that sabbatical, went insane, came back, and I think everyone is just sort of going with it because what else are they going to do, I think that Mox and Claudio are like a synonym for folie à deux. So I just think it's very interesting. Mox, Pac, and Claudio against their ex-boyfriend would be incredible. I think that would be great. Give it to us now. We've been very good. We've been very patient. Just kidding. I haven't been patient at all. I haven't been patient a day in my life, especially when it comes to wrestling storylines. Now, another thing that happened that I almost completely forgot about is Kenny and Hangman meeting back up again. And then I think correct me if I'm wrong, but Wednesday, Hangman and Kenny, and I believe someone else, are facing off against the Young Bucks and a couple other people. And the reason I don't remember the other people in the match is because, oh my god, we're going to get Hangman and Kenny versus the Young Bucks. I, honest to God, cannot remember the last time we got that. Like, I know, I think they fought each other a time after that whole tag team belt debacle, but I don't remember when that was. Like, specifically having Hangman and Kenny on the same team. Like, I know that they fought them individually, but together, because they've never been in the ring together. Being the Elite, they revived the YouTube channel. We have Hangman and Kenny reuniting. Like, dude, it is just, I feel like the end of the year, they're absolutely going ham. It feels like so much is starting to pick up again. I'm very interested to see if this is Hangman and Kenny basically going in and trying to... I don't think their intention is to bring the Bucks back to, like, their face era. And I don't think that maybe that's even what people really want. I think this is mostly just them going against the Bucks. And if they do that, I think we're going to find that a lot of people are, like, split on who was actually in the wrong in the end, right? Because I think if you look back on it, I think the Young Bucks probably were bad to Hangman first. I think they treated him poorly because I think they were just so obsessed with Kenny. And, like, yes, Hangman basically left them for dead before, when, like, right when he was beginning his feud with Swerve. But even before that, the Bucks were bad to him. And before that, Kenny was bad to the Bucks. And it's just, you know, who's really in the wrong? Because if you look back at the very beginning of all of their storylines, at the end of the day, it all really started with Kenny turning into the cleaner. And if Kenny isn't repentant for that, where does the story go? Do we have the Bucks apologizing? Do we have any of them apologizing to each other? We've gotten Kenny apologizing to Hangman, but no one's ever really recognized what the Bucks have done, other than, I think Hangman did end up apologizing to them. Yeah, and I think at the end of the day, I really want the Bucks to maintain this, like, pathetic heel story, like, as long as possible. I know eventually it'll probably get old and they'll forget things to do. My cat is here. My actual cat, not my cat, not Binks. Coffee. But yeah, I think it's going to be very interesting. I'm curious to see where they're going to go with that storyline. Okay. I want you guys to choose a name for the cat. Keep in mind, I want it to be a somewhat spooky theme, but I want a name for this cat that goes kind of along with the spooky theme, that's good for a little black cat. I want you guys to choose what we're going to name him. I'm going to have to wait a little bit because chat is behind, so while you put that in there, I'll just keep yapping. But yeah, basically, I'm very excited. I personally don't want the Bucks to turn good yet. I want them to be bad. I want them to be bad and evil and pathetic, and I want them to just suffer for a little bit longer because it's very funny. Bonks. Bonks is very good. So Bonks is the nickname for my current cat. We call him Binky Bonk. We also call him Bink Bink the Sausage Link. I like Bonks. We're gonna go with Bonks. Bonks it is. Little Bonks. You'll be a good kitty now, okay? He absolutely won't be. He'll be a nasty little cat, is exactly what he's going to be. Alright, what mail? Jody is wanting something. Joja customers. The Joja is open, and they have removed that big ol' thing. Perfect. Alright, let me get some of these turnips here now. Lovely. you've got some new ideas to sleep on. Yay! Now, we haven't run into my other mod, which I'm very interested to see when that ends up showing up. Maybe it's a random event. We'll see. We'll see. So, fun fact, that is what Binks's name is. My cat. He is Binks from Hocus Pocus. The problem is, I misspelled his name, and so his name is spelled like Jar Jar Binks from Star Wars, which incidentally is one of Rubel's favorite Star Wars characters. And yes, when I found that out, it was a test to our friendship, but I love Rubel very much, so it is what it is. I can accept him for his flaws, and he can accept me for mine. All right, I need to go buy some more seeds. I think I've got plenty of money for it, so let's go grab some seeds. What's this doing? All right, advancement, reach farming level 1 and craft a scarecrow. Buy a coop. I got started. I need to make introductions still because I need to meet the wizard and a couple other people. No. So, Solo, Binks's name is Binks. You've been spelling it correctly. I misspelled his name. Completely misspelled his name. I spelled it Binks, like Jar Jar Binks. But he was supposed to be named after Binks from Hocus Pocus. So, you know, it's a silly little mistake that he's going to live with for basically the rest of his life. I gave him a cool middle name. His middle name is Beauregard. Binks Beauregard. Because back before I transitioned, my name was AA. And I wanted him to be BB. Oh, well, though. It is what it is. Yes, so you've been doing it completely right. Oh, I like that the Joja Cola is also a different color. That's very cool. All right, let me see. Can I craft... Oh, I want to craft a thing that'll let me smelt bars so that I can start upgrading my stuff because I want to go into the woods. Okay, we can actually go to the store. I was going to go to the mines. We'll hit the store, plant some seeds, go to the mines. There we go. Beauregard is a good name for him. I got it from, I don't know if you know a lot about Scooby-Doo, but Shaggy's real name is Beauregard. Shaggy Beauregard. And there was like an old movie, like old animated Scooby-Doo movie that talked about that. And so that's why I made that his middle name. But wrestling, okay, all right. I've met Abigail now. I think I met Caroline before. Yes, okay. But yeah, so basically Collision then, I, again, wasn't able to see it. I was at the Renaissance Festival. Again, very, very fun. But we got some forward progression with the Death Rider storyline. We got Kip yelling at Lucha. I'm not going to call him Killswitch. You can't make me. It's a dumb name. Correct, Jas, you don't know me, and you shouldn't talk to strangers. Let's see, what else happened? I know Mercedes Monet on Wednesday had a very boring segment where nothing happened again. Still willing to give her a chance, though. Like, I still think she can be good if she can just figure something out. Like, whatever. Anyway. I also really love, I don't think I mentioned, Chris Statlander and Harley Cameron. Because I believe they came out on Wednesday as, I think it was their first tag team appearance, like in an actual just doubles tag team match. And I think they're very cool. I love those two together. I think that they match each other's comedy perfectly. For a while there, I was concerned that... where is my cat, by the way? For a while, I was concerned that what they were going to do was try and recruit Chris into the Death Riders, But I think what they're doing with her instead is showing, like, hey, whenever the Death Riders, like, touch anyone's career, they force them to be stronger through fear, which I think is fascinating. So I think that that's what they did with her. I don't think that much more is going to happen with Chris in terms of her joining the Death Riders, because I think she does have a good thing going on with Harley, and I'm almost wondering if maybe AEW wasn't expecting people to really like Chris and Harley as much as they did, and now they're just sort of going on. Now, I should keep this leak to eat, but I'm going to give it to Linus because I love him. I would never destroy your tent. How dare you? I would never. But yeah, I love what they're doing. I'm very excited with what Tony's doing. Always excited with what Tony does. I don't think the women got a whole lot of time on Wednesday or on Collision, though. So really what we have to look forward to is this upcoming Wednesday, which I believe involves Garcia is facing Mox again, I think. Or his challenge for Mox was for Wrestle Dream. Not sure. I think Darby is likely going to make another appearance. Now, Darby actually teaming up with Garcia is interesting. Darby showing up to keep Garcia out of Mox's grip, because Garcia... Oh, yeah, that's another possibility. But yeah, I think if Garcia and Mox don't fight on Wednesday, I'm thinking probably Darby shows up. And then I have to imagine, because I think this week is the very last show that they have in Philadelphia for their residency. I think it was only a 2-week-long residency, so I have to assume that on Wednesday, big things are going to happen. I'm guessing probably Orange Cassidy comes back. Yuta probably plays a pretty big role in things that end up happening. I just think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be a very interesting couple of days that we have to look forward to. All right, what else can I get rid of? I'll get rid of this fiber, because I really need this copper ore and the coal. Speaking of coal... Adam Cole is still streaming over on Twitch. He is hanging out, just, doing his stuff. He's also still doing his podcast with Evil Uno. He seems like he's not coming back anytime soon, just sort of from the way that he's been talking about his injury and his career. I think he's probably not retiring. I think he was probably talked out of that. I hope he was talked out of that. Oh my god, guys, we're about to see one of my surprise mods. Are you ready? I really hope you're ready. Also, yes, I hope that Yuta gets screen time. So Adam Cole streams over on Twitch under the name The Chugs. He also used to stream with Tyler Breeze, Claudio, and Xavier Woods back when all of them were in WWE, and then they picked it back up again a few years after Claudio and Cole joined AEW. Their YouTube channel is called Da Party, and they used to play Uno. And I highly suggest you check that out. But, that being said, are you ready? Are you ready to see part of my sneaky new mod? Because my sneaky new mod is this little eyeball here. It's actually not just the eyeball. I installed a mod that downloads cryptids into the game. So some of our enemies will be cryptids, and there's also going to be surprise cryptid appearances later on in the game. And I think it's very cool, and I'm very excited about it. I love cryptids. I think the cryptids in this game are going to be very fun. I've seen only some of them. Apparently, there's like a handful that will show up. But yes, very, very fun. Oh, look at the little eyeball. Oh, look at the eyeball. I love him. Give me that bug, mate. So yeah, I believe the eyeball replaces the bugs that you would usually find on this level. Oh man, I can't pick up the slime or the bug meat right now. I really need to get up some cash so I can get that backpack. And Kill, 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 kill. But yeah, I think honestly we will see a lot of story progression on Wednesday. I'm very excited to see it. I'm very excited to see just Yuta getting some modicum of respect because I think he's put in so much work and I think he's so good. I'm also very interested in seeing, ooh, hardwood. Let me get rid of this regular wood. Oh my god, the hardwood has blood on it. That is hilarious. But yeah, I'm very excited to see that. I saw someone talking about, hey Lex, you missed some of it. We basically, I'm showing off. I'm sure you can tell. This new mod. So the mod that I have, and I'll show you. I'll do another walk around. It is officially spooky season for me in my heart, for me and mine, and that means that I have downloaded spooky mods. And so this is a Halloween mod. I have also downloaded another mod that places cryptids in the game. So we can have random encounters with those. We've met one of them, which is a floating eyeball that replaces the bugs in this game. Nice. Okay, I've made it to floor 5. I am going to get out of here because I'm out of energy. But we did all of that. I talked about how I went to a Renaissance festival this weekend, tried a little bit of German chocolate that Solo gave me, and yeah, mostly we've been talking about the Death Riders and how we're really excited to see how Yuta progresses in this storyline, especially Wednesday, because I believe Wednesday is going to be their last show at their Philadelphia residency. So we've just been talking a lot about that, talking about how the women are doing some really good stuff. And I was about to say, I am so impressed with Kyle Fletcher. I think Kyle Fletcher has skyrocketed so fast in AEW. Like, when you think about it, he's been in AEW now for, I think we're coming up on 2 years. It may only be 1 year, though. But just the astronomical projection of his career from where he was when he started to now, not many people could pivot from heel to babyface back to heel as fast as this guy does. Like, it is just incredible the things that he's been doing. And like, he looks like a champion. I just really want him in the title scene soon. I know MJF is currently crashing out for the title. I'm guessing he probably is going to do something soon about that. But, you know, I want Kyle Fletcher in the title scene. I think he is fantastic. I think, actually, if Takeshita really ends up having a good storyline with Okada, I can see Fletcher coming in on Takeshita's side and maybe having a couple tag team matches. But personally, I think that Fletcher is better than just being a, like, you know, a secondary guy to, you know, whatever. Been busy over on the other side of the fence, and thank Ospreay for making Kyle for his stardom. So I do think that Ospreay gave Kyle a lot of his start and really supported him through a lot of his career. Mostly because Kyle was Ospreay's young boy. Even though I don't think they're super far apart in age, Ospreay really did give Kyle his start and was responsible for him sort of surviving the early years of just wrestling in Japan. And I think Kyle took all of that and has done something that's very unique, which is, like, took all of that and made his own career, and very quickly after starting AEW made it so that he could stand on his own. I feel like a lot of times when guys go from, you know, mostly being associated with another big wrestler to going on their own, it's very difficult for them to find success because so many people still will always associate them with that other person. I think that's why, like, a lot of people didn't want Yuta going off on his own, because I don't think that he would have been able to stand as a singles wrestler for a while. But now he's sort of, you know, gotten to that point. But Fletcher did it so quickly. If Fletcher goes off and just decides to be his own guy, completely breaks away from the Don Callis family, if he makes a couple of good moves, I think he can completely stand on his own. though I do love what he's doing in the Don Callis family. I think it's incredible. I think Don basically being this weird old pervert, like collecting his guys, is so funny to me. I just think it's incredible. I think what he's doing is awesome. Now, there was a mod. I want you guys to know the mod that I saved you from, which was a mod that just makes everyone in the game Clint. So literally every single character is just Clint. And I really debated doing that as a joke. I didn't do it. Maybe for an April Fool's stream one year, but not this year. This year we're going spooky ooky. Exploring the old mine. If you can slay 10 slimes, you'll have earned your place in the Adventurers Guild. Sweet, and then I can buy more swords. Hat mouse, nice. Yo, the indie show you went to wanted you in the ring. Felt good to be back. Dude, Lex, that's awesome. If they uploaded anything onto YouTube and you feel comfortable sharing that, go ahead and share the link. I think you should be able to share the link in chat. I'm not positive, though. Regardless, I believe you followed me on Tumblr. If not, let me actually, real quick, because I think you asked for it a little bit ago. Let me send my Tumblr username in the chat. So, it is either... I believe you can find me either way. So, it will either show up as old number 7 that away, or as old number 7. Okay, it'll show up as one of those two. And the heading is Hangman on the floor back when he was screwing over Christian. The banner is Matt Jackson looking at a cat. So that way you'll know it's me. But send it over to me on Tumblr and I can share it with people if you're comfortable with that. If you're not, totally understand. But that's super cool. I love that for you. I also talked about how Solo bound one of the things that I wrote as like an actual book and sent it to me, and then sent me a bunch of German chocolates, and they're all incredible, and Germany has better chocolate than the United States does. So, you know, I'm only a little bit bitter about it. The US needs better chocolate. It is what it is. Let me put these supplies over here. I need to water my crops. Yay! Lex has followed me now. Lex, do you like this new mod? I think it's pretty cool. I might add a couple more before I stream next, although I want to try and stream tomorrow since I am off work. Now, I will say, I think this is going to be one of the last days that I do here because I have to go and start making dinner after this. But I'm going to try and get a stream out tomorrow. I will schedule it if I can. However, the following week, so not this Monday, but next Monday, I start a new job. And, you know, so far I have been lucky enough to be able to work remotely since the beginning of COVID, but this new job is a hybrid role, so I'll probably be going into the office more, meaning I'll have less time to prepare for streams. So, you know, there's a possibility that I won't be able to stream as often. I still want to try and get in at least 1 or 2 a week, but, you know, that being said, I may not have as much time because I'll be starting this new job and I'll be really busy with it. And I'm very nervous about it because it's a complete career change. I've been a professional editor for 6 years, and this is something completely different. So, you know, I'm a little nervous for it, so I'm probably going to dedicate a lot of time to it. But I'm going to try and stream, especially on the weekends, because this is just fun. It's like an outlet for me. So, you know, just if you see me drop off a little bit, just know that I'm not, you know, losing interest in streaming. It's just because I'll be working at my new job. Also, I just noticed that the community center says Pelican Hell, and that's very funny to me. Your stepson does, because he is a Halloween. Oh yes, Halloween, very fun for me. I was saying that Halloween for me usually begins either mid-September or after I go to the Renaissance Festival, which I went to this weekend. And I'm actually not as hungover today from it as I expected to be. I think mostly because most of the cider that I was drinking went on to me personally. So, and also we're going to skip this cutscene because we all know what it is. You need to fill out this place for the Junimos. John Morris from Castlevania Blood. Okay, I will look out for it and I will follow you back if I can. Okay, let's actually look at the community center and see what's going on in there. I think that's going to be very interesting. Oh, little dandelions. Let me grab a couple of these so I can start on one of the bundles and give a gift. All right, what in here has changed? It doesn't look like a ton has changed, but to be fair, it was old and dilapidated to begin with, so not a lot probably has to change. I wonder if the Junimos look different, though. Let's see. I think this is the first bundle that we can deal with. Junimos just have red eyes. Still pretty cool, though. All right. So we need to talk to the wizard next, which I believe triggers the next day, so we won't get to it this stream, but we're still going to wander around. I say we... Oh, Sebastian. I actually don't know if Sebastian likes daffodils. He doesn't. Okay. Good to know. We will be romancing Sebastian this time around. I just think it's appropriate for the spooky playthrough. Match that SO dark match. Okay, that's still pretty cool. That's awesome that you were able to get back in the ring. Oh, there's some lake jelly. I can see it right there. Oh, I didn't want algae. Let's do some fishing just so that I've got some stuff I can eat when I go into the mines. And then I'll make a scarecrow when I get home so I can complete level 1. Good. But yeah, so I guess at this point, right, now that we're almost into September, we are looking forward to the next pay-per-view, which I believe is Wrestle Dream, which I believe comes at the very end of September. And Wrestle Dream, I think, is going to be unique. I'm wondering where the storylines are going to go. I think it's probably too early to be able to tell what's going to happen. My hope is, by the time Wrestle Dream comes around, we have something showing that Yuta is going to turn on the Death Riders. I'm hoping Tony gets... I would love to see Tony and Willow fighting for the championship. However, I would also like to see Tony go up against, is it the Triangle of Darkness? That's Sky Blue, Julia Hart, and Tekla. I think they would be very good if we get, like, Julia Hart going up against Tony Storm, just because their styles clash so much. I think it would be fascinating. Or, you know, just... Anyone. I think it would be very fun. I would also like to see more women's matches. You think Yuta betraying Death Riders at Wrestle Dream? Yes, Triangle of Madness. I think that would be really cool. What I'm hoping is that Eddie doesn't, like, make us wait all the way until Wrestle Dream for him to come back, though I know that that is probably a possibility. And I think if he doesn't debut on Wednesday, he probably won't debut until Wrestle Dream. That is just my assumption. Let me eat something so I can free up my inventory. Yeah, that's just my assumption. I hope not. I don't want to wait that long for Eddie, but, you know. Now you can bug me about my decent indie wrestling run on Tumblr, and Wrestle Dream 2022 was the very last AEW pay-per-view I went to. Wrestle Dream 2022... What happened at that? I feel like that one was Bryan Danielson versus Okada, maybe? Wrestle Dream has always been a very solid pay-per-view, is the thing. Like, I feel like shit's gonna go down. It's like Wrestle Dream and Full Gear tend to be the big ones that happen year by year. And I'm very, very excited to see all of that start to go down. Attack. You know what's also very interesting is I feel like um what Ace Austin was the guy that AEW just signed, I believe. And it's very unusual for AEW to sign someone who's a fairly big name and then not really use them that following week. Or if he was in a match, I don't really remember it. I don't know. I feel like I haven't seen enough of Ace Austin to be really interested in him yet. Um, I don't know. Maybe you would know more about it, simply because other people tend to watch more of the extraneous wrestling than I do. Oh my god, this crab is underneath the skull. That's hilarious to me. Come here. Just stop hiding from me. Ha! I got your shell. Thank you. But yeah, I'm not super impressed with Ace Austin, Call me crazy, but I think I would be way more excited to see Charlie Dempsey in AEW than I would to see Ace Austin continue. I don't know. Maybe I just don't know enough about him is the thing. Maybe he's actually really good and just hasn't gotten enough time in AEW yet. Clash in Paris was eh. Yeah, that's what I've heard. I've heard that it was, sort of mid. I love these little floating eyeballs. That's awesome. Ooh, that skull over there is purple. Is that the new Jade one, maybe? Give Ace Austin a second to warm up. I will. I think I'll give him a chance. I think he probably just honestly hasn't had enough time to really show any personality yet in AEW. What do we get rid of? I want this amethyst. Let's get rid of the daffodil. Fine. I think I'm pretty much full up right now. Let me see if I can get more copper while I'm down here, though. Yeah, I'll give Ace Austin a little bit more time to warm up, and then I think I'll probably be less critical of him once I see him wrestle a couple of times. Roman Reigns was once again written off TV. Cue the Roman Reigns returns Canva Oh man, I hope honestly when it comes to Roman Reigns, I have never been impressed with him. Maybe that's the hater in me. When I was watching WWE, he didn't impress me. I don't know why they chose him to be the it guy. I get it. He's like a big, like attractive Samoan guy, but I don't know. He just never impressed me. And also as a minority, I was very surprised when he turned out to have the political opinions that he had. But, something to be said for constantly having concussions, so it is what it is. Come here, you little crab. Come here, you little crab. Crab. Yeah, OG Roman, like, back in the Shield was the last time that he was, like, pretty decent, I feel like. I'm starting to feel exhausted. All right, well, I guess we're going to leave the... ooh, what is that? Oh, it's a cherry bomb. Whatever. I can always come back for it. All right, let's leave the mines. Now, I will say, of the Shield, I feel like Mox and Seth are doing the best. Just because I love Seth's character. I think he's so cool. Like... He decided to take his character in a completely separate direction from what he was when he was in the Shield or when he was with the Authority. And I think it's just so fun watching someone just sort of play up and have fun with their character. Like, I don't know. I love what Seth's doing. Like, he is one of the few people in AEW or WWE right now who I, like, would maybe genuinely watch for. Yeah, I don't know. See, I feel like I like Dean Ambrose and Mox just in two different ways. Like, I think it is so hard to compare them. Because I really like Mox. I really like what Mox does. Not so much in Death Riders, although I think his Death Riders character is compelling. Because it's like, here's this big, like, tough guy who is so obviously a hypocrite, but he doesn't realize that he's a hypocrite. And, he's... I don't know. I think it's very interesting the way that his character is. But, I just think he's pretty cool. And then I think Dean was just fun because here's this guy who like has to be PG and is obviously fighting against it because he's just this like unhinged guy. I don't know. I think he's pretty cool. Drew McIntyre's been having a bad PR week. What happened with Drew McIntyre? I feel like the last thing I heard about him was that he bail on Clash in Paris? Was that what I saw? Like, or was that someone else? Because that's the only thing I think I've seen with Dean or Drew McIntyre this past week. Green algae, maybe I can eat you and get some energy. Yeah, Unhinged Dean is pretty cool. Although you could see towards the end of his career that he just hated what he was doing. Like, he just absolutely hated what was going on. And now it looks like he's actually having fun with what he's doing because he can be sort of like this unhinged little monster. I did prefer him in BCC, maybe just because, like, I liked just the dynamics of that team so much. And when they broke apart, it sucked. And I feel like for one reason or another, the Death Rider storyline has kind of dragged in certain places, but I'm still willing to give it a shot. All right, I think, you know what? Why don't we do one more day? We'll do one more day. We'll go into Sunday, and after that day, I'll have to jump off so that I can actually get myself some dinner. Hate for not liking Death Riders. I mean, listen, I'm a huge Death Riders fan. I love Mox. I love Claudio. I love Yuta. I think that they're great. I think that they can tell a compelling story. But I understand why a lot of people have become frustrated with them and frustrated with the story. And then I also understand that, like, what I like is not everyone's cup of tea. So, you know, while I love the Death Riders, like, there's no hate for people who are, like, not really liking them, right? That's why there's so much wrestling content, and that's why it's so good that there's so much wrestling content in the world. Simply because different people have different tastes, and one is not better or worse than another. All right, let's go get this geode cached. Actually, did I say good morning to my cat? I did not yet. One more day. Oh, you're making a joke, I see. But yeah, what's the issue with Drew McIntyre? I haven't seen anything from him. Oh, then again, I'm not really in the wrestling sphere. I don't really have any social media anymore because, like, it's all just clickbait journalism and all that. It's quote unquote wrestling journalists, which is hilarious to me. It's like being a you know. Oh, dude. I don't know. I just love how they changed the UI in this. This is so cool. Topiary tree is like a bleeding. Oh, dude, that's so cool. Okay, anyway. Yeah, I'm just not into it. I'm not into the whole like wrestling journalism, whatever. The only time I'll read them is if there's updates on like people coming back from injury, which like sometimes those are completely wrong anyway. So Death Riders are fun to hate and fear. Mox being an absolute menace to Hanger leading up to All In pulled me in. Dude, anytime Mox and Hangman are in a storyline together, so good. Unbelievably good. Oh, I needed some water. Mediary between physical and ethereal. Master of the seven elementals. Keeper of the sacred Yeah, I get the point. Thank you. You know, one of these days I'm going to learn how to mod. And I'm going to do an AEW mod / like New Japan mod and like change some of the townspeople into those characters. I actually believe, and I will download it once it comes out. Because if you guys remember, I was saying that my computer can't really run Baldur's Gate and stream it at the same time. But the workaround is there is a group that is modding Stardew Valley and inserting Baldur's Gate characters. And once they update with Halcyon, who I believe is the next one that they are updating, I will download that mod, and that will be what we play once spooky season is over. Death Riders because they remind me of Texas Biggest. I was trying to hurt me while I was wrestling. I'm sorry that happened, Lex. That sucks. I mean, there's dickheads everywhere, it seems, But I understand that, that's a perfectly viable reason. Some people just remind some people of things, and it is what it is. Wrestle Me podcast, and my hubby subscribed to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, so I get the Dave Meltzer Cliff Notes. Getting the Cliff Notes of Dave Meltzer is the perfect way to consume Dave Meltzer content, I feel like. The did he say anything important? Did he say anything that seems viable? Okay, cool, done. What's so weird is I cannot bring myself to listen to wrestling podcasts. Like, this stream is almost a wrestling podcast where it has like a very vague structure, but like I don't know why I cannot listen to wrestling podcasts. It is just, I think because part of it is sometimes I feel like a lot of people have very tantric or very, I don't know. I don't know. I don't really know why I can't listen to them. Just, I guess I'm not a big fan of wrestling podcasts specifically. Then again, I also can't really listen to anything other than comedy podcasts. Why are the cows green and why are their eyes red? And they have blood. They just snacked on something. That's upsetting to me. Look at Marnie's house. Oh, this is so cool. Oh, this is so cool. God, I love Marnie's house. He used to do a wrestling podcast of all wrestling and indie shows. That's pretty cool. Wrestle Me is great, though. They review old-ass episodes and stuff. Also, Lost Media. Their Regal impression is a 10 out of 10. All right. Well, I mean, if they do a William Regal impression, maybe I go back and I listen to that. It's entirely possible that I could do that. That seems pretty cool to me. But yeah, so I only really listen to comedy podcasts. Literally, I listen to basically two. I listen to Distractable, which is Markiplier's podcast, and I listen to My Brother and Me. That's basically the only two podcasts I listen to. Mostly because I put it on when I'm working out or when I'm doing a long walk, and I just really want to, have I spoken to you yet? I don't think I introduced myself to you. Who have I not introduced myself to yet? I'm missing two people. Who am I missing? Oh, probably maybe Crovis and maybe the gnome. Do they count? Yeah, shoot me an episode. I'll give it a little listen probably tomorrow. I might go on a bike ride tomorrow. I'm very interested to see if BTE uploads a full episode tomorrow. I don't actually know if they're going to. I feel like maybe they're gonna, give us these little tidbits one at a time, and then eventually they'll be like, all right, here's our full episode, maybe starting at Wrestle Dream. I'm not sure. I think it'd be very interesting if they bring back the full shows now. I'm curious to see how that's gonna look. I just miss it, though. I miss getting the additional storyline lore. Also, I don't know if you guys clocked in their episode where they were FaceTiming, or Jack was trying to FaceTime them. They had the real glass Pepsi bottles, which I thought was hilarious. I thought that was incredible. Old and new podcast shows are on my channel here. Okay, I'll definitely go and check that out. A broken trident, you say? Fascinating. All right, let me replace some of the stone with that. I have plenty of stone. Can't use bait yet, so I'll just trash that. Don't. We're just gonna fish today. We're gonna try and recoup some money from buying all those seeds. Gosh, this map is so cool, man. Oh my goodness. This map is so cool. It's also cool to play because it's getting dark where I live. So it's a little added spooky ooky. When we go back, I'm going to make a scarecrow, and I'm going to see if I can make a smelter yet, so I can start making some bars so that I can improve my tools. But yeah, I think an AEW mod to this would be pretty cool. I don't know what it would look like, but you know, just doing something would be really fun. Where? Oh, I threw it on the ground. Why would I do this? I don't really need wood right now. All right, let me sell these to Willie. It's almost 2 a.m. where you are. Solo, why are you awake? Do you have work off tomorrow? Because today is Sunday, right? Yeah, I think today's Sunday. But yeah, I think I'll play through this day. I won't go too long, and then I think I'm going to hop off so that I can make myself some dinner. And so that I can go see what Binks wants, because boy howdy, he's throwing a fit. Oh, the trees are so cool. I'm interested to see what happens in fall, because what I was reading about this mod is I think it adds in a couple more fall events too. Good night, Solo. Hope you have a good one. But yeah, I think that would be very, very fun. But yeah, I think we are coming up on a time when a lot is going to start happening. My biggest hope is that Wheeler Yuta and Daniel Garcia become big storylines in Philadelphia. I can't imagine. I have to assume that Wednesday Orange Cassidy comes back. I can't imagine they have a residency and we find out that Orange is cleared to wrestle and he doesn't come back to do something in what is also his hometown. The Acclaimed in 2023, yeah, man, I really wanted to be a big Acclaimed fan. I was just really not a fan of Max Caster, and I think the problem now is that Max Caster is, like, a little bit lovable. I'm still sort of on the fence about him, but I'm just really, and it sucks to say, right, as like a member of the LGBT community, I'm really not a big fan of what Bowens is doing. I don't know why. It's just something about it's not clicking with me. Like, I love that he's crashing out. It's just like, I don't know. I just feel like I'm not a huge fan of what Bowens is doing. It's just, I don't know if it just feels like maybe it doesn't have legs to me. The, like, 5-tool player thing doesn't really make sense. I think also his logo looks a lot like STP's name. And so I'm just like, I don't know. It's peculiar to me. I can make a furnace. Let's go, boys. We're going to get set up. So next stream, I'm going to upgrade my tools and we're going to get into the Hidden Forest. But yeah, it's interesting. It is what it is. Oh, I haven't met Marnie. Do you have fun working on the farm? Yes, I do. Okay, cool conversation. But yeah, I don't know. I could be an Acclaimed fan. I'm interested to see if Max Caster does anything for next Wrestle Dream. I think right now he actually doesn't have much going on, which I think, fans really like him, so he should have some sort of storyline happening. I think once, inevitably, I think Luchasaurus turns on the matriarchy, I think it would be very cool to see, did I buy a backpack? Why am I able to, oh, no, okay, this is the duh. Oh my gosh, I almost had a moment where I was like, did I buy a backpack? Why do I have backpack here? Or why do I have so many slots? It's because I was looking in my chest. All right, let's pull this out. And then I'm also gonna need, I believe, fiber and wood for my scarecrow. So let's make my furnace. Heck yes. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, what am I gonna need for the scarecrow? Wood, fiber, and coal. All right. Let me get rid of my rusty sword then, because I can just use the broken trident. Let's go. All right. Furnace is gonna go over here. Right here. And then I'm gonna get some, what do I need? No, I need stone. I don't need copper for this. Then let me get, oh, coal was what I needed. Man, I miss Adam Cole. I keep saying Cole, and then I miss Cole. Perfect. All right, that's 2 accomplishments under my belt. Let's put all these things up here. The scarecrow is beheaded. I love this. I think that's very spooky and cool. All right, smelting. Use your furnace to smelt a copper bar. And don't mind if I do. All right, I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 copper. I need 1 coal. And let's smelt a copper bar. You've been a fan of Anthony since AEW's beginning. See, I think Anthony did a lot of really good stuff, like right at the beginning. I really liked him in the Acclaimed. I think if you watched AEW now, you'd be slightly disappointed in the way that he's taken his storyline. He's become a sort of quasi-heel now, but I think it's the age-old problem, right? That he doesn't get enough airtime to really develop his story enough. And because of that, his story is sort of confusing. And maybe that's just for me, right? I'm sure plenty of people just enjoy generally what he's doing. All right, I think my energy's low. I've watered all my plants. I think I'm going to end things here. I think that this is a pretty good stopping point for the stream. And earn no money that night. That's very cool. All right, so that being said, I think next time I am going to upgrade my tools, and if I'm able to stream tomorrow, I think what I want to do is go back and discuss some either BTE lore or talk about some interesting things that we think might happen at WrestleDream. If I'm not able to stream tomorrow, and I really hope I am, but there's a chance I won't be able to. If I'm not able to stream tomorrow, I'm going to try and stream this upcoming weekend to discuss whatever happens on Wednesday and maybe discuss what happens on Collision. Though if I'm not able to stream tomorrow, I do want to try and stream a little bit earlier next week. So we'll probably stream after Wednesday to discuss whatever happens there. But in the meantime, I hope you are all staying very safe. I love you very much. Just sort of thank you for being here and chatting with me. It means the world to me. And yeah, have a great rest of your day. Make sure you stay hydrated. And have a fun beginning to your spooky season. Goodbye, everyone.